Okay. You want to play games?
Get back in the bus, please. Please, come on. Come on, back in the bus. Hey, stop!
I'm a sheepdog, I am. I gotta watch a sheep on account of the wolf will get him if I don't watch him. See, I'm a sheepdog, yeah, but he ain't gonna get him, no, sir, no, sorry. Oh, 'cause I'm a sheepdog, I am, and I'm too smart for him, I am, yeah.
To eat or not to eat? Bah, what a question. Eureka! I have it. I shall disguise myself as a sheep and mingle with the flock.
How many times have I got to tell you, sheep, not to leave the flock on account of the wolf will get you, and then you'll be sorry because you didn't listen to me when I told you, but you sheep never want to... Gee, what an ugly-looking sheep. But you sheep never want to listen to me. No, you never do want to Now get back in there and stay there!
Why, the dirty no good... Well, hello. What have we here? Mutton. Ah. Tender. A bit scrawny. Boss! Oh, boss! Boss! Oh, boss! 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 I ain't the suspicious kind, but there's a wolf in sheep's clothing among us, and it don't look like he's going to no masquerade party. Mm-mm.
A wolf? Come on now, come on. I know you're in there, and you ain't gonna get away with nothing on account I'm right on the job. So you better come out, because I know one of you is a wolf. Yeah.
Wolf! Wolf? Wolf? Oh, me precious sweet, I love thee with an all-consuming fire, a fire sparkling in thine eyes, filling me with a madness that keeps repeating, I love thee, I love thee, I love thee. Yipe!
thinks he's pretty tricky, he does. I'll show him, I will. La 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 la. It's me. La 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 la. Why, Grandma, what a big nose you have.
Yes, it is quite a profile, isn't it?
And Grandma, what big eyes you have.
You have beautiful eyes yourself. They're like limpid sapphire pools in the shimmering moonlight.
They are? Really? You're not kidding me, huh? Well, what do you know? They are pretty. You're right, my eyes are pretty. They... Huh? You know, I don't think he meant a word he said about my eyes. If I don't get a haircut soon, the dog catchers are gonna get me. The wolf in sheep's clothing. I caught him, look. I caught him.
Well, how you like that?
The movie of the week. ABC presents an original motion picture produced especially for the movie of the week. Tonight on the movie of the week.
May I introduce myself? My name is Kolchak of the Daily Chronicle.
Kolchak reports the bizarre, the supernatural, the unexplainable.
You again in another crazy story.
This nut thinks he is a vampire.
You know what I call that? Irresponsible yellow journalism.
He has killed 4, maybe 5 women. I saw that so-called super killer wipe up the streets with your so-called police force.
They don't want any help from amateur bloodhounds like you.
I've been a reporter for 22 years.
I've been a police officer for 30.
Well, then why don't you retire? Each man in the field is issued one of these, and one of these.
Are you suggesting that we pound one of these into Skorzeny's chest?
No, into his heart.
Darren McGavin, the Night Stalker.
Good evening, goblins and ghouls, and welcome to the Friday Night Scream Stream. I'm your host, Spakenstein, joined as always by my very good friend, Mr. Evan Sink.
What up?
How we doing tonight, Evan?
I'm great.
Thanks for joining me as always. As our regular guest or viewers can see, our regular guest Fresh is not with us tonight. Unfortunately, he's he's at the will of the holiday season. It is.
Yeah, the Christmas spirit has got him.
It's wrapped him up. He is fully enveloped in the Christmas spirit.
Getting that shopping done early though.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't get on it now, all the good stuff's taken, right?
Right. It's still Cyber Monday, I think.
Is it? I mean, that's got to last at least a week or two, right?
Right. First it's the Christmas creep, and now Black Friday and Cyber Monday. It's gonna be Black Friday until Christmas, I think.
Yep. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to settle in, lock in. But yeah, Fresh is smart. He's getting his shopping done. We'll take what's left. Evan and I are scavengers. Yeah. We go and
we'll dig around for the scraps.
Right. Whatever's slightly beat up, torn up. It's it's the last of what's left. That's the ideal Christmas present that I like to give out.
Yeah, if you're expecting something good,
forget it. Too bad. Well, thanks everybody for joining us tonight. We're here for another wonderful helping of some public domain horror, but we got something a little special here this evening. We have never had a TV movie presented on the Scream Stream, so tonight is our very first TV movie. So that's it's an occasion. It's a special occasion because I don't know there's too many TV movies that we'll get, but this is a werewolf movie from 1972 titled Moon of the Wolf, and it was an ABC Movie of the Week, which if you just saw the promo in our pre-roll, it was for
our movie.
This is our movie of the week, but that was to set the mood because this was just at the beginning of TV movies being a thing. The late 60s, mid to late 60s, early 70s. It was kind of a novel concept.
So what if we made a movie and we put it on the TV?
What? You're out of your mind. You must be joking. But they weren't, and they made a shit ton. All the networks did. I say all the networks. There were only 3. That's kind of the irony of the time. And they didn't. I don't know. We'll talk all that. I've got tons of research on kind of the history of TV movies, kind of what led up to tonight's film, and just kind of horror in TV movies is different from what we've seen on our program before. Horror movies that are made for the theater, there are kind of different stipulations and different rules, which I think we'll be able to kind of pick apart as we go, and that'll be fun. So Moon of the Wolf from 1972.
Moon of the Wolf. Can you think of a more generic title for a werewolf movie though?
Really, it's pretty generic. I mean, that is based on a novel with the same title, so I guess they just kind of didn't feel like switching it up. They just wanted to stay true to the source material. Well, that's not true. I do, they adapted it with some liberties. So I'll get into that later. But yeah, it is.
Took out all the sex scenes.
Oh yeah, well,
I'm just kidding. They put more in.
Yeah, no, the European cut that they released in theaters, they added a whole bunch of sex scenes. That's a whole other common practice for TV movies that we'll get into. TV movies were like a kind of a unique thing at this time, and so we'll be talking all about television history, because even the actors in tonight's movie are kind of television mainstays at the time, and each kind of involved with little bits of history here and there. So it's gonna be fun to get into. It's just different. It's nice to change up the pace a little bit. We haven't had a werewolf movie since season 2 with the Mad Monster.
It's been many moons.
Many moons. That's why Evan's our pun guy. If you're new to the show and you don't know, Evan's our pun guy.
Pun specialist. Just put that
doctor,
right on my resume.
Doctor of punology.
What the P in PhD stands for.
Exactly. That's common sense. So, he'll be on top of all the werewolf puns tonight because there's
fun having to.
Yes, yes. No, we're just wait. There's be plenty of room for puns tonight because this is again, it's a werewolf movie. It's a cheesy 70s movie, which we haven't had one of those in a minute. I don't know if we had any 70s movies last season. I feel like we did at some point maybe. But this was
She Beast was 70s, wasn't it?
She Beast was late 60s.
Late 60s.
Yeah, so okay. She Beast we watched for our season finale last season. But that was late 60s. And so tonight's film, 1972. That's
pretty late for this program.
It is. It's one of the older, later movies that we're gonna get on the show. And I was telling Evan before we started, we're gonna get, even this season, we're gonna get a couple more newer films than we're used to. It's not the 90-minute silent movies. I mean, I'm gonna have to run those up at some point. I'm withholding it for now, but just know that there's kind of a backlog.
You can only hold it back for so long.
Yeah, there's really I'm all backed up with these silent horror movies. I gotta get them out, and so one of these seasons, just wait, it's gonna be pure torture. But we're saving that. We got an audience to try to grow.
We don't want to scare them all off.
We don't want to scare anybody off with.
Right, we're gonna have we're gonna have a whole season full of silent movies, and then we're gonna scare everybody.
Right. That's we'll save it for the very last season.
Yeah, we're just trying to blow up the show.
Yeah. Whatever outrageous things we can do every episode, we're gonna do. We just haven't reached that point of desperation yet, but we'll get there. We'll definitely get there.
Don't you worry.
Don't worry. There. It's if we keep at it long enough, we'll get desperate enough. Just wait. Speaking of desperate, tonight's drink is I just don't even know how to.
Would you call it desperate?
I certainly something. So with that said, I'll just go ahead and turn the floor over to Evan for a segment that he brings to us every week, where he pairs a little drink with the evening's film, and this segment is called.
What were you drinking?
What are we drinking, Evan?
What are we drinking? With all the pun talk, I was just thinking the other day about whenever I'm coming up with these things, I feel like Bob's Burger is his burger of the day.
Yes.
So many puns. So I have a goal for this season, and the goal is keep it simple.
I feel like I've kind of noticed that in the three drinks that you've done so far.
And I want to say, this is purely for the benefit of the watcher. I don't want anybody to think that I'm just being lazy. But tonight's drink it's a simple one. Sometimes you need something a little easy. Sometimes you've had a long week. You just need to crash land into the weekend. And what better way to do that than with the Moonshot, which is tonight's drink. This has 2 parts. So we've got, this is a 2-stage rocket. We've got our moon, and we've got our shot.
I know I'm going to spill this if I don't have steady hands.
You might, I hope you've got enough room in there.
Yes, I've got it.
So I'm going to put this down for a second before I spill it.
Yeah, that's a good call.
I thought that maybe if, not that I'm just trying to take the easy way out, but if I make things a little simple this season, it's easier for the watcher to participate.
Yeah.
So
I feel that it's in this economy. We're tightening our bootstraps.
Yeah, everybody
We can't afford to go out to the liquor store every week and bring some fancy exotic cocktail with the wildest shit that we don't even have in our liquor stores.
Right.
Who are already making substitutions for some of the fancy stuff.
Maybe we've got to drink the liquor that we've bought before we can buy more because our cabinet's full.
Right. Let's, this should be a lesson to all of us in these times. Work with what you have and come up with something new. I mean, Evan, have all 3 of the cocktails this season been originals?
Well, the first one wasn't a cocktail.
Wine. It was just wine. It was just, but you gave it a fancy name. You gave it a fun,
we talked a little bit about how Vincent Price loves his California wine.
Right.
And last time I was very sick.
Very.
Definitely not completely present. So we had a kind of a crazy non-cocktail.
Yeah, it was, rum and Coke and Mentos. It wasn't the worst thing that I've ever had.
It's a funny idea.
I liked it. I mean, I'm not like a mint guy and I'm not a Mentos guy, but I liked the drink. I mean, it gave it a different kind of, minty flavor. Coca-Cola, that's not the worst thing.
Bouquet. Kind of a minty
it did have a minty bouquet of flavors. It really did. Yeah, I mean, I did. I liked it. I thought it was pretty dang good. So I like what you're doing this season.
Well,
I do.
Thank you. And especially with all the stuff NASA, we've got the new moonshot. We're going back to the moon.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Just wait. Cool. It's happening.
That's pretty cool. So we'll honor this one for NASA and the moon. We'll think about the original moonshot. Everybody remembers when when JFK was nailing Marilyn Monroe in the Oval Office, and he said, "I don't do this because you are easy, but because I am hard."
Yep, there it is.
And on that, we're gonna say cheers, everybody.
All right, so we're dropping this in. We're dropping it in. All right. So everybody, all right, we're doing this. I bet. Hold on, I'm gonna hold this back a little.
Maybe not over your microphone.
Yeah, just hold it back a little bit. Hold on, I'm trying to find a good spot. I want you guys to be able to see it. I just don't want to, get like shit everywhere. All right.
Well, good luck.
All right, yeah, let's just go for it.
Cheers.
Oh, God. It's everywhere.
Oh, it is really everywhere. Whoops. Do we need to pause and get a towel? Okay, technical.
I don't know about this, Evan. I don't know about this. I'm pretty sure I cannot do that. Oh, God. Oh, I'm dying. Ooh, okay. So, Evan, we know next time to be a little more prepared. Maybe have some towels.
Maybe have your towel ready.
Have your towel ready.
So you don't have to watch this movie with wet jeans.
Also, just the taste of whiskey really overpowers the Blue Moon in a way that I wasn't expecting. It's really strong.
You look like you're struggling there.
I really am. Like, I'll be honest. If you couldn't hear it, like, in my microphone, I kind of gagged a little bit. I did. So I'm a little nervous about reapproaching this for sip number 2. How is it, Evan? God almighty.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, that's gonna be real rough. Gonna have me howling at the moon tonight.
Yeah.
Well, I luckily between this Heineken, I may just also have to grab a Coca-Cola as a second chaser, because that's
So I hope everybody enjoyed that, and I hope you also have a towel at hand.
Yeah, I don't even know if I even got the spot cleaned up. I tried. I did what I could. It was definitely, I'm glad I didn't just hold it right here for everybody to see, because all of my operation here would have been screwed. We would have been, yeah, I mean,
I just went all into my lap.
Oh, okay. See, at least I didn't have that happen. Poor Evan's about to be uncomfortable for the next 2 hours.
Yeah, when
he's locked in.
You throw up all over yourself on the first roller coaster, and you got to walk around all day.
Oh God, that is exactly what it's like. Oh, that's how it feels. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to finish this. It's not gonna be easy. I mean, hopefully this. I mean, so one thing I don't think I said about tonight's movie so far. It might be our first movie of the stream that takes place in the South. It's set in Louisiana, so okay. I don't know what it is. This kind of feels like a Southern drink to me. It's something about there's whiskey and beer.
Yeah,
it's not a great combination.
I think that's what they drink in Louisiana.
Yeah, it's got to be. I feel like it's authentic, right?
Yeah, they always spill beer all over themselves every time they drink.
Right.
Because of the whiskey.
Exactly. So I'll try, but I can't make any promises. So we're about to get into tonight's feature presentation, Moon of the Wolf from 1972. Again, ABC Movie of the Week, which, just to set the stage with a little bit of context before we get in, I feel like it's important. Again, like I said, TV movies were a novel concept at this time, and it was... A lot of these TV movies were action, thriller, drama, comedy. You didn't have too much straight, all-out horror. If you had things that were kind of on the edge of horror, they were more like gothic, like thrillers, kind of boring. But the same year as this, ABC had a movie of the week that we saw the preview for in our pre-roll. It was The Night Stalker, which was it was written, but the screenplay for that was written by Richard Matheson. It was directed by the guy who directed City of the Dead, which was the first movie we ever watched on this show. And it was produced
many moons ago.
Many moons ago. Our very first episode. Check it out on YouTube. And it was produced by this guy named Dan Curtis, who he was popular at that time for Dark Shadows, which was, it was a soap opera, and it got really popular when they brought in horror elements, vampires, werewolves, all that stuff. So, like, this combination of those three guys, this TV movie was the most watched TV movie up to that point. Which in that time, like, you're talking about over 30% of households in America watching this TV movie. Like,
everybody saw this.
A lot of people saw this, and it was a big hit. They ended up making they made a sequel TV movie, and then they made a series. It only lasted one season, but those movies in the series were like very popular. Ended up being the inspiration for the X-Files. The creators stated that, it was very much an influence. So it was a very big deal. This television movie, The Night Stalker, it was a huge hit. So the same year, this is probably, I think Night Stalker came out in January. This is September. They didn't really, I don't think they had any other horror TV movies play in between that time. Maybe some thrillers, but nothing straight horror. And so then they have this, and it's, there's some interesting connections, which we'll get into, like things that the two movies share, but this obviously wouldn't go on to inspire any TV series or anything like that. It's just a one and done werewolf movie, which again, werewolf movies were kind of out of vogue in U.S. horror movies, like movies at the time. So it's kind of interesting.
Here was Wolfman.
Wolfman was 1941.
Okay, so yeah, they're pretty done.
So they're pretty, by 1972, they're pretty done.
You're watching this movie in 1972, Wolfman was like your dad's movie.
Yes. Oh, 100%. Well, and you probably grew up seeing the Wolfman on TV at that point, and like, because they had the shock theater packages, which kind of like what we do, showing late night horror movies with hosts. They showed all those, old Wolfman movies on televisions across the country. So a lot of kids grew up on it. So I think, they were tapping into that with this, but it was, as far as movies go, like studios weren't making werewolf movies at this time. Universal wasn't making any. There were some movies coming out of Spain by this guy named Paul Nashi or something like that. They're pretty decent, but outside of some werewolf movies here or there, the 70s, it's just kind of bare. It wasn't until the early 80s that the genre got like revitalized. And so this is, the werewolves were still good enough for prime time in this case. So we're going to get some prime time werewolf action here with Moon of the Wolf. Anything before we get into it tonight, Evan?
I guess not. Let's get into it.
All right. We're going to get into 1972's Moon of the Wolf right now.
How's that treat?
Bad!
Yeah, it's bad.
It's really bad.
What do you think about Blue Moon?
I like Blue Moon. I don't have a problem with Blue Moon, but I don't know about beer and whiskey mixed together in general. A little probability.
I must have probably just turned 21. I was in the grocery store and
bring your shotgun.
I didn't really know.
Right.
I had Blue Moon, some experience with that. This dude comes up to me.
I've got Santa something out there, all right?
Like, Blue Moon, you know that the Doors makes that, right? They make it in the same factory. Okay.
Great. Thanks for the info, guy. Wow, that's I hate it when people do that.
It's never a good thing to get accosted at the grocery store.
No, that doesn't. Not a memory that sits well.
And what really gets me is, so like I don't know if
shut your choppers, you flea flagging fat
maybe this guy has just some kind of vendetta against Blue Moon.
Probably.
If he's just like he was just like a snobby guy.
Daily bird food, Bob.
Do you think that when he was in the store, he saw me and he was like, you know what?
Yes. I'm doing
Wild dog got themselves a taste of human blood.
Just please,
ain't nobody gonna be safe out now.
We've had
we
this
get
argument
together
so
and
many
wipe off the island.
I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna tell him.
You go call the sheriff.
I'm gonna take this kid down.
Yes, Bob.
And also, I don't remember what that guy was drinking, but
not as good as Blue Moon, obviously.
I mean,
he's upset about it.
I don't know what you're gonna pull off the shelf. Food Lion that
Brad
lets
Skull
you
was at
look
the gas
down your
station. I
nuts.
called you.
Hey, that's a
Came on
yeah.
park driving
No,
back here.
What's the nicest beer they have at the grocery store?
Who else knows?
oh, that's just a
Only
losing
preacher
battle.
beggars.
If you're buying it
I
at the
called him
grocery
after I
store,
called
you're
you.
not looking for fancy. That's for sure.
Somebody ought to tell her brother what happened to her. Preacher Beggar's the only one in Frenchtown got a telephone. Well, we're lucky you don't have a whole pocket full of dimes, are we? Well, don't the family got a right to know? It's up to the authorities. Now, Ellie and Lawrence, poor fool, got a father next to death. He hears about something like this, and there's gonna be 2 dead bodies. Is that what you want?
Sky the Star playing the sheriff, David Janssen, acted in a couple movies with John Wayne. They're in the Green Berets, which was directed by the guy who did Giant Gila Monster and Killer Shrews.
The trailer.
That's right.
What can you tell me, Doc?
Right now, only that it's not considered good medical practice to perform autopsies in the middle of swamps.
Well, I hope not.
Howling dogs and scratching rustics. I want the remains moved to the hospital as soon as you can arrange it. Do you think that can be accomplished by the neighborhood clods without completely obliterating any chance there might be of
Wow,
determining
snooty
cause of death?
doctor.
They're standing right there.
They don't understand me. Uh-oh.
All right, somebody grab a hold of him now. Go on, stop him.
Yep, good call, Sheriff.
Come on, you don't want to see you like that, Lord. Look, go.
Ugh. She dead. Yeah, see, that doesn't really look like blood. It's like brown. It's probably chocolate syrup.
She slipped in some cherries.
She got mixed up in a pie fight. Didn't come out of the other side of it.
She fell down in the blueberry patch.
Yep.
Who killed her?
We were wild dogs, boy. This couldn't be done by a human person.
Take your hands off me,
Now, you hold on to your manners, boy. You got a death
All right,
family.
now, let's hold it. Let's just hold it. Now, you go on home with the Reverend. Wait for me. Go on.
Go
on.
get.
You 2 boys help Doc with the body. Now, the rest of you get out of here. I want to look around by myself. Go on, get.
Nice. That's real sheriff right there.
Yeah.
He's got his go get down pat.
Come on.
Not many people are allowed to
You
just
think
say
someone murdered her?
No.
What do you think?
But a Louisiana sheriff is
Wild dogs
exactly
do it
what
to
I expect to
Tell me
happen.
what you mean by do
that was
it.
fast.
Dogs might very well have done something to her. There were bite marks.
Well, then they killed her.
You show me a pack of dogs where one of them knows how to hit you on the side of the head and knock you unconscious, and I'll sign a death certificate saying she was killed by dogs.
Something struck her.
Someone struck her with enough force either to kill her outright or to render her sufficiently senseless to be dragged out into that field and left for the dogs to finish off. Find someone strong enough to do that with his left hand, and you'll have who did it.
Left hand.
The mark was along here. That's where a left-handed person would strike you if you were facing him.
It helps if you water it down.
You've got a murder, Sheriff.
Who got a murder, Sheriff? It was a shark. Dun dun.
Something killed this girl. Someone killed her. Someone hit her on the head. It was a shark.
It was a shark. No, we're only 3 short years away from Jaws. And I think this was the year after Spielberg did Duel, which was a TV movie, and it was his first movie. And it's about a truck driver who's just terrorizing a guy on the road.
Sir? Sheriff? I'd like to come in if you'd allow it.
Has anyone ever done a were-shark movie?
Hi, Lawrence. You feeling
Don't
better?
give it away. We'll get on it.
Copyright that.
How's your father? Does he know about it?
I just bathed him. Do you want to pay your greetings?
That'll pleasure me.
Jeez. Got a good-looking old sick man. He looks very old and very sick.
What he's been saying ever since Ellie was killed.
You, what are you saying, you?
Jolie, Annie, look. Yeah. Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
What was he talking about? I don't know French. What's a lookaroo?
I don't know.
What's a loop guru?
Never heard that word before. First time I heard that word was when I come back from where they found Ellie.
Did he know about Ellie?
Yeah, he knows.
Who told him?
Nobody told him.
Well, then how does he know?
Well, I can't tell you that. He's been talking like that ever since I got back. Talking about his pretty Ellie, his little girl, sweet daughter, and the lookaroo. He knows. Somehow he knows without anybody telling him.
It doesn't make any sense.
So for those unfamiliar with werewolf lore, Loop Guru is just, I think it's just werewolf,
Let's
right?
talk about what's going on in your head.
Have you heard of that before?
Well, you know what's going on in my head.
I want to know what got it going.
Maybe?
It wasn't wild dogs that killed Ellie.
Now, how do you know that?
Loop Guru is the French
trouble.
word for wolf,
kind of
wolf
trouble?
man, werewolf,
With
I
a
think.
man?
Well, who?
I don't know who. Wasn't anybody from down here on the bayou. Somebody up on Pecan Hill.
Down here on the
Some
bayou.
other marsh
Down here on the bayou, Louisiana Bayou country.
She didn't tell me anything. That's how I know. We was good friends. She used to tell me everything. Then suddenly she just shut up tight. Wouldn't talk a word to me. That's how it was last night when she was ironing her dress and brushing out her hair. I asked her. She wouldn't say. I know. Don't you worry about that.
How'd you know there was trouble between them?
If you're coming from
You said there was
France
trouble.
and you end up in the
I could read her face like
Yeah, you definitely didn't come out on the winning end of that one.
something bad.
The swamp is not, you know, who wants to be king? I mean, I'd love to be king of the swamp. Who wouldn't love to be king of the swamp? King of the swamp. But,
What'd you do?
I'd rather be king of the swamp than a peasant of France.
Yes, absolutely. That must have been their
let her know
thinking.
what I thought about her letting the quality put their fat fingers all over her.
Go on, show me how hard you hit her. Show me how you hit her. Go on, show me.
Hit me.
Wow, nice. That was
I've known you for 10 years.
some great stunt
I never knew
choreography.
you were left-handed.
It's like I got a punch coming from a mile away.
Okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna hit you.
Yeah.
That's assaulting an officer, son. You're going to jail.
Come on, get in the back of my cruiser, which you could easily just slip
Hang
out
on,
of.
I gotta move the seat up.
You ride in the trunk.
Sheriff? Good morning, Mr. Rodan.
That was the guy from the top.
Morning, Sheriff. How are you? Is there something I can do for you?
Well, I
uncanny.
just came by. I guess you heard about Ellie Burrifu.
Yes, I did hear, Sheriff. It's a terrible thing to happen. Come on, let's sit on the gallery.
See, now these are the
Is it
kings
true
of
they
the swamp.
discovered her body just the other side of our grove?
Yeah. Right near the Grummandy place.
Have you any
You can
idea
tell
who might
because
have
you
done
can't
it?
see the swamp.
Right.
No, we don't know much yet. I was just trying to trace where she went after she left the house before she got to the marshes. She could have come along Pecan Hill Road, or maybe she took a shortcut across the bayou. I was half wondering if you might have been outside between 8 and 12 and noticed her pass by.
Oh, I'm afraid not, Sheriff. I wasn't being a very happy man about that time last night. Oh? Yes, I was doing battle with another bout of malaria. There was a time there when I thought my shaking was going to bring the whole house down around my ears. But
a bout of malaria? Is that how malaria works?
I slept the rest of the night like a dead man.
Andrew? We're just about ready for lunch.
Miss Rhoda, I didn't know you'd returned to Marsh Island.
Just a couple of hours ago, I met a plane in New Orleans.
I guess you don't remember me.
You're Aaron Whitaker. I remember you very well.
Ooh.
Where'd you meet Sheriff Whitaker, Louise?
Well, he wasn't sheriff then, Andrew. He was just plain Aaron Whitaker, and he was 2 grades ahead of me in junior high. And I had this terrible crush on him.
Louise.
You probably didn't know a single thing
In real
about
life, she's 4 years older than him.
I wish I had.
And she's still alive. She's the only one that's still alive. She's not. No, they're just all very old. She's 95 years old.
To a road dance?
Well,
And he died very young because he apparently was a chain smoker.
Even though we're fine old
And worked very
family,
hard.
and
He's
settled
like
Marsh
42
Island
here,
and
the
all
sheriff
that.
is. Does that look like
You
a
know, there's always
42-year-old
been a
man to you?
road dance living in this
Not
great old
nowadays.
house here. Even though you can't keep it warm when it's cold out, cool when it's hot, or dry when the rain's filtering in through the cracks.
Louise.
Well, it's true, isn't it? At least it was 5 years ago when I left. Has anybody fixed the roof since then? Or put in heating?
Louise. Sheriff Whitaker is attending to a small matter, and I'm sure you are impatient to get on with it. Isn't that so, Sheriff?
It's nice seeing you again, Miss Rodin.
You will come to call, won't you? Oh, I have to remember all the way they say things here. Come to call? Is that it? Or pay a visit? In New York, it's ring up, drop in,
Oh,
hop
she's
over.
been in the big city.
Things are much
City
more
girl.
active
Big city
in
gal.
New York.
Louise, I'll be right along.
Oh, dear, I'm talking too much. You noticed that, I suppose. I'm a compulsive talker. Everybody says so. You know, it happened to me
She's
shortly
doing
after
it
I
again.
graduated from junior high school.
God
What if
damn it,
happened sooner, I should have
Louise.
mentioned that terrible crush I had on you. Oh, Andrew is staring at me. Well, goodbye, Sheriff Whitaker, and do...
Ring up, drop in, and hop over.
Oh, my, that does sound energetic, doesn't it? Oh, put your hat on. You're going to get a sunstroke in this climate. I'm going, Andrew. I'm
Jeez.
going.
He's... Get out, Chatty Cathy.
My sister has been ill, Sheriff. That's why she's come home.
Whoa.
And I hope she'll be feeling better soon.
Oh, yes, she will be, with a lot of rest, quiet, no excitement of any sort.
What
Stay
you mean
away
is
from
I
here,
shouldn't
Sheriff.
bother to ring up, drop in, or hop over.
It hadn't occurred to me you were taking the invitation seriously, Sheriff.
I wasn't.
Uh,
Miss Rodin?
Just kidding.
Sheriff?
Don't play coy with me, Sheriff. Here we are, and this obviously filmed on location in Louisiana. So thank God for that. Thank God we're not in a studio.
Yeah.
My goodness.
It looks very authentic.
A clue.
You got yourself a clue, Sheriff? Either one of you ever see this?
Oh. What did the fella call it?
You identified Ellie Burrowfoot. That means you knew her.
Well, we knew her, all right. She did cleaning for us a while. Back after Ma died.
How long?
Yeah, near about. That's before she went to work at the hospital.
You ever date her?
Sure didn't.
And telling me what you were doing the night she was killed?
I was down in town to bean wagon. A lot of folks seen me.
Yeah, when'd you get back? What'd you do?
Came back around 10, went to bed, that's what.
You see him?
Well, I didn't get in till about 12.
Well, where were you?
Pictures in Leadville.
Well, when you got home, did you look in to see if Tom was home?
Tom Jr. here's a growed man. I don't bed shake him no more.
Anyhow, why are you asking us
Bed
things?
shake?
It was wild dogs that done it, wasn't it?
Bed check?
You saying it wasn't wild dogs?
more than one kind. I'll see you.
Classic.
Is really the word.
Oh, what a twist. That would be a twist. I haven't seen, I saw this once when I was like 7 or 8. I honestly didn't pay attention. I don't remember what happens. I have no clue.
Morning, Sarah.
Sheriff.
What brings you to town?
Oh, Hugh sent me up to the store to buy some things. Some asphyxia and some sulfur.
What for?
For the Lookarook.
For it?
For to drive the Lookarook away.
Sarah, do you know what a Lookarook is?
No, Sheriff, I don't, but Hugh thinks the Lookarook killed Ellie, and now he's scared it's going to get Lawrence.
Oh, you say that?
Yes, sir. Only I'll tell you something, Sheriff. Didn't no Lookarook kill Ellie, no matter what the old man says. And Lawrence didn't do it either. And if that's what you've been thinking.
Oh, Sarah, he had a reason, and he's left-handed.
He didn't kill her, Sheriff. Don't go waste no time on Lawrence. I know that.
Now, how do you know that, Sarah?
Because I know who did kill her.
Ooh.
You find out whosoever made Ellie pregnant, and you'll find out who killed her.
Ooh, drama. Got an illegitimate child situation in the mix.
Doc, I'm not getting any more answers out of the back of your head than I was out of the
Yeah, that's honestly, I didn't, if I knew that's where the fade out was, that's where I would have made it, because it's coming up in like a minute or two.
I was third in my class.
I was looking for it. I could never find it.
Didn't say anything.
Aaron and I was performing an autopsy to determine cause of death. Pregnancy didn't cause her death.
Well, I'm not so sure.
Well, I am.
Doc, if she was pregnant, somebody got her that way. And that's a clear lead to who killed her.
No.
Yeah, Doc, you pull out your special stuff that you got hidden back there in your cabinet with the curtains on it.
None at all.
Medicinal.
I want one of these 70s doctors. God, that's a heaping glass. I can't even drink this one shot in this beer.
And I didn't kill her. I loved her.
Oh.
I guess I'll have some of your antibiotics.
Sorry, there's only one glass.
I didn't say anything about needing a glass.
This guy is John Wayne.
That's classic grizzled sheriff.
Burroughs Druten, M.D., FACS. Grandson of Senator Jefferson Druten of Louisiana, out of his mind, in love with a girl who does cleaning. Isn't that what you're thinking?
Lawrence said she had a date. He didn't say who with. You know who she had a date with?
Of course. Me.
Me.
But she never came. I waited until I decided she wasn't going to come, then I went home.
Where were you supposed to meet?
Near the bottom of Pecan Hill. In the grove, across the wall.
Pecan Hill.
At the bottom of Pecan Hill.
Pecan Hill.
Not a lot.
Yeah, Pecan Hill sounds better than Pecan Hill.
Said she looked worried.
She was. That's what we were going to talk
Pecan
about.
Hill.
The baby. I wanted to abort it. She wanted
Classic
to marry me and
doctor.
she wanted us to go someplace to live, somewhere else, where people wouldn't know us.
I leave Marsh Island.
And the hospital.
Classic
And my
doctor.
whole life.
These doctors always
You didn't want to.
abort
I didn't have the guts to. I'm almost 50, Aaron. Why do you start over again at 50?
Just itching to do it.
I wanted to go on loving her. Not having to give up anything for it. She said no. We were going to talk it out that night. But she never came. So I went home. I never saw her again. Till out there in that clearing. Torn apart.
Damn, rough.
Sounds like I killed her, doesn't it?
He's the loop guru.
You ever see this before?
No, never did. Where'd you get it?
You never saw Ellie wear it?
This? Ellie never owned anything like that.
This junk.
It's fake.
Aaron.
That's not even real gold.
I didn't kill Ellie.
Oh, boy, I sure hope not. Hey, Doc, what do you use sulfur and asafoetida for?
You don't, not anymore.
Well, when you used to use them, what'd you use them for?
My grandmother used to claim they kept wolves away.
Wolves? I see.
You're not going to arrest me?
You left-handed?
No.
Of course, whoever made that mark on Ellie could have come up from behind her, and that'd make him right-handed.
Maybe.
I see.
Are you right-handed?
And that is going to take us to our first break. So, we're a third of the way into Moon of the Wolf, and it's very, it's proceeding like a mystery, certainly, right?
Yeah.
You know, we have a dead...
Who's the wolf?
Who's the wolf? You know, we've got a dead body right up top, a list of suspects. We've already, you know...
An extremely grizzled sheriff.
Just very grizzled. You should just look. You see how many buttons he's got undone from his shirt. He's just you don't show all that chest hair unless you're trying to tell everybody that you're a grizzled sheriff, and certainly is. David Janssen is the actor's name, and he, you know, again, like you said, it's that John Wayne quality. He was certainly known as a very macho kind of grizzled, mostly leading man. I mean, he played a lot of character in supporting parts, but it's kind of surprising, like, even at, you know, in his 40s, how many kind of like leading man roles he was getting. But yeah, I mean, you know, he's portraying the grizzled sheriff pretty well so far, and a lot of talking. I think that's what I've noticed.
There's quite a bit of talk.
A lot of talking. Usually, if there's kind of more just looking around and kind of, you know, action. You know, I've like noticed that we're not riffing quite as much, because it's like, all right, well, I gotta follow these.
Right,
there's all these details coming out. I gotta figure out what's going on.
Do you think that's a TV movie thing?
I think it's I think it's definitely a TV movie thing. Again, like the idea of a werewolf whodunit, it was really taken to the extreme. I think a few years after this with a British movie called oh God, why am I blanking on the name of it now? Because we've talked about it before. I love it. But they have the werewolf break. Remember we talked about the werewolf break?
The werewolf break.
God, why can I not remember that? I'm blanking on that name. That never happens to me.
Check it over the break.
I'll look it over the break. But anyway, there's that, like, you know, there's that idea of really playing up the mystery. And in that movie, it's kind of similar. There's a lot of talking. It's a lot of, because you have, like, in that movie, 8 suspects, and they're trying to insert all these little twists and turns, kind of misdirect you.
So can we expect a 15-minute intermission at the climax?
I would love a werewolf break. I don't think we're going to get... Oh, The Beast Must Die. It's The Beast Must Die. That's what it's called. I hate myself for forgetting that, but the beast must die. We got it.
I wanted to just turn in your badge there.
I was ready to. People would have had my head on a platter if I couldn't remember that. Yes. So it's that is really, it's a cheesy 70s movie, but it's pretty good. So, but this is before that, so it's, you know, we'll see how much it keeps leaning into these mystery conventions, but so far it's definitely kind of playing out like your standard mystery.
We got some clues. We got a body.
Got a body. Hopefully, second act, we'll see the body count start piling up.
Got the lover.
Yeah, we got some drama. Some illegitimate, conception, and some, I don't know. This murder victim. Not to blame the victim, but there's a whole bunch of suspects for a reason. So I don't know. It's sad.
The lesson is, if you don't want to get killed by a werewolf, don't make any friends.
Yeah, just keep to yourself, become a recluse, stay in your home, and you'll never have to worry about being the victim of brutal, vicious werewolf attack. No sweat. You don't got to worry about that. Stay inside. So, yeah, I would say that, so far, one body. Hopefully, second act, we add a couple more to the...
We ratchet up the action a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, now that we have a couple characters, I think we can...
We've got some intrigue, but I'd like to see a little more action.
Hopefully, we get a nightfall. With another nightfall, there will come more death. That's just how these werewolf movies typically play out. So, yeah, we'll see how this sheriff handles it too. Again, sheriff played by an actor named David Janssen, and he at this time was best known for a television series called The Fugitive, which was about a doctor who's falsely accused of his wife's murder, and so the whole series is him being chased around. He's trying to find the real killer, and it's actually one of the first serialized TV shows. A lot of TV at that time was pretty much exclusively episodic. They weren't like from week to week kind of picking up with the same storyline. So it was a big hit in its first couple seasons, and then in seasons 3 and 4 the popularity kind of waned, but they ended up making 120 episodes, and it was like from 63 to 67, and 63 to 67. And so when they decided that they were going to end it, at that time TV shows just ended. There really wasn't a concept of a series finale, because usually the show was just canceled and it was over. So they knew that the show was ending, so this is really the first case of a series finale. So this was, at the time, the most watched episode of television history in America. Wow. It was watched by 45.9% of households that had a television. 45.9% of households.
It's like the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean it's
huge,
and it still stands as the third most watched television episode of all time. I think sports programs probably have higher ratings, especially in modern times. But there's the MASH finale, there's the Who Shot JR episode of Dallas, and then there's the series finale of The Fugitive. So it was a big deal. And so David Janssen, like, it's kind of weird, like, because I hadn't really heard of him until I had, seen this movie. And then when I've like looked into him, like, oh, this guy was kind of like a leading man a lot. Like, why is he so popular? It's because he was a big star on TV. So in the 70s, he got a lot of low budget, cheap action movies, and like Italian action movies and exploitation movies, and he got a lot of work. He worked very hard. Apparently was a hard worker. So we're going to see 2 David Janssen trailers at the break. The first trailer is for a movie called Swiss Conspiracy, which it's some kind of cheesy 70s action movie with a bunch of old washed up stars. And the director of that movie was also the director of Creature of the Black Lagoon, and It Came from Outer Space, which stars the leading lady of tonight's movie. And she won a Golden Globe for It Came from Outer Space. So that's a little interesting 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon thing there. And then the second trailer we're going to see It's kind of intense. So I'll go ahead and give like a warning. And the trailer's actually for a movie called 2 Minute Warning. And it's it's about 2 minutes.
So here's your 2 minute
So here's your 2 minute warning. It's a thriller. And I won't spoil it for you, but it's got a bunch of stars in it, and it's, in the 70s, disaster movies and kind of all-star action dramas were kind of like a big popular thing at the time. So this is one of these like disaster movies, but it's actually kind of scarily prescient. Like it's back then it seems like entertainment, but now it's kind of like, holy fuck, like you couldn't release a movie like this nowadays. And I saw the trailer and I was like, okay, I have to show this. So get ready. We're gonna see the trailers for Swiss Conspiracy and for 2 Minute Warning. And anything before we go to break, Evan?
I don't know. I gotta know what this is. I think I have maybe an idea, but I'm afraid I'm right.
You'll find out. So we're gonna watch these 2 trailers, and then when we come back, we're going to get into the exciting middle of Moon of the Wolf. So stick around. We will be right back. Click the wrong button. Hold on. And now we'll be right back.
5 of the richest, most powerful people in the world are trying to buy their way out of dying in the Swiss conspiracy.
Do you have anything to declare?
No, nothing.
Have a nice day, Mr. Hayes.
David Janssen is Christopher. He's the only man who can uncover the conspiracy.
Yeah, 5 little secret accounts came to Zurich. Hayes was killed, and then there were 4. Rashi was killed, and then there were 3.
Senta Berger is Denise. She also works undercover.
I want to make a confession.
Do I look like a priest?
The Swiss conspiracy. The name of the game is blackmail.
If you want your client's secret bank accounts to remain secret, wait for instructions.
What are we to do? Go to the police?
Never.
The stakes, a fortune in uncut diamonds.
High value in a small package. Easy to conceal, easy to market.
The players, 5 desperate people, each with a deadly secret. The score, 2 dead, 3 to go. The rules, anything goes. The only way to win is to stay rich and stay alive. The Swiss Conspiracy, starring David Janssen, Senta Berger, John Saxon, John Ireland, Elke Sommer, Ray Milland, Anton Diffring. The Swiss Conspiracy, the ultimate blackmail thriller.
Championship Sunday, the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. Inside the stadium, 91,000 cheering fans, 33 exit gates. Somewhere in the stadium, an assassin waits.
Pad off it, Gary. Pad off it quick. Don't go back to that shot unless I tell you. Understand? Just stay off it. Move!
Who will his target be? Charlton Heston, John Cassavetes, Martin Balsam, Beau Bridges, Marilyn Hassett, David Janssen, Jack Klugman, Walter Pidgeon, Jenna Rollins, Brock Peters, David Groh. 91,000 lives that will never be the same.
Why do you take such pleasure in telling people we're not married?
There's this guy. He's gonna kill me.
Still nervous? That's right. We're still gonna wait, too. Just don't get itchy.
What exactly did you see?
I told you. A man with a rifle. You get your men into place ready to move, but it's no go till we get all the VIPs out. The VIPs. The probable targets.
SWAT 6 to all SWAT units. The suspect is up, armed, and at the north end of the parapet.
We're coming up in the 2-minute warning. You ought to have your people in place by then. When the 2-minute whistle blows, it's your ballgame.
He's up!
2-minute warning. After that, sudden death. This is the motion picture you have heard about. This is the motion picture you have read about. Soon, you will be talking about the motion picture shock of the year. 2-minute warning.
Okay, so could you, I was just asking Evan, could you imagine
You could make that
a movie like that coming out today? Could you even imagine, like, the thought alone of something like that happening is one of the most horrifying things that I could think of. Like, you're at a football game with thousands of other people, and then all hell breaks loose. I mean,
it's scary.
You can only make a movie like that, like, before the year 2001.
Yeah, that's the kind of I don't really dig horror movies like that because they're just stuff like that can happen.
And that's the thing. It's not a horror. That's where you would say it's definitely a thriller because it's so grounded. It's supposed to like get you all nerved up because it could really happen. But like, yeah, it's fucking terrifying. Like, and so yeah, you just could not see that being made like nowadays because the idea, like, hopefully the idea is never put into people's heads, but like the wrong person sees something like that and then that's their plan. I mean, you know, it's horrifying. You think about like, what is it? Like there was that shooting at that like concert in Las Vegas, right? Like that is kind of like the level of the scale. It's frightening. It's absolutely terrifying.
He didn't give them a 2-minute warning.
No. It just, and I mean, you know, that's why I say it's just such a prescient topic. This idea of mass shootings, and you know, not to get, I mean, it gets the downer season where it's depression stream. We're in the winter. It's that time of year, but
we've got our seasonal effect of we're talking about mass shootings.
Right. But it's real. I mean, but that's, you know, again, what's fodder for a 70s movie is today's like, you know, thing to really be afraid of. Like, something like that happens, you know. We're not endorsing anything here, just to say, if you're having any problems, go get help. Don't take your rage out on a group of people. But it's, you know.
Don't get any funny ideas by watching this 50-year-old movie.
Don't get any funny ideas from watching any old movies. There's no reason to, you know, lend credence to what is essentially just a cheesy footnote in the careers of a bunch of actors that were just looking for a paycheck in the year 1970, whatever that was. I guarantee you that Charlton Heston, you know, that wasn't the movie that got him involved in the NRA, but it certainly didn't help. You would think, you know, that he would avoid a movie like that because, I mean, what can a movie like that say except like gun laws should be stricter. If somebody can do something like that, where does it end? So it's kind of weird to see Charlton Heston being the main FBI guy and just calling the shots because it's, you know, that's classic Charlton Heston. But at the end of the day, like, you know, it's not good. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I saw that trailer and I was just like, I have to show this. This is wild to me. So
the world has to.
So the world can't forget about this crazy Charlton Heston, John Cassavetes movie. So yeah, 2-minute warning. I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah, if that sheriff was there, none of that would have happened.
Well, yes, unfortunately he was there. He was just apparently he was having a domestic argument with his wife. So, you know.
Wait, is he in that movie too?
Yeah, it was a David Janssen trailer. Yeah. They showed him really quick. It was like David Janssen, and he was like, his wife was like, "Why are you telling people that we aren't married?" Or something like that. Or why do you take satisfaction in telling people that we aren't married? Like, what the fuck does that mean? So it seems like
trolling his wife.
A thankless supporting role there for David Janssen. Wasn't always the leading man. Not when you're in a movie with Charlton Heston. You're going to be playing second fiddle.
Yeah.
Charlton Heston and John Cassavetes, who a lot of people like. Again, he's a very famous director, but he was also like actor who was very skilled, but he's not as well known as he should be. But yeah, David Janssen, kind of not doing much in that movie, but hopefully he's about to get a little warmer on the trail of this killer, or at least confirm that it is in fact a werewolf. He's certainly being given the clues to go down that path, but he hasn't bought in 100% yet.
Yeah, it's a shame he doesn't have like Google Translate.
Right.
Loup-garou.
Loup-garou.
Oh, it's werewolf.
We've been saying Loup-garou. Oh, okay. Yeah, we've been saying it wrong the whole time, which I don't know if you guys noticed, but they keep saying it right and saying it wrong. Keep putting like T's and R's and things where they don't need to be. It's Loup-garou.
It's French. You can just pronounce it.
I know I'm not pronouncing it right, and you could try to be somebody that isn't French and say it as correctly as a French person, and they would still say that you're not saying it right. They'd be very snooty. They're not a nice people. I have no problem.
We're taking a stand against the French.
I've looked at our analytics. We don't have any views coming out of France. Okay,
so
I don't care.
Maybe if
we get we get English, we get Russian, we get China, we get the people we don't want. We like the English. We don't want. I'm not crazy about Russia and China. I don't care. I mean, we get views from India, the Philippines. I mean, we have a nice array of countries, but I don't think I've seen France ever pop up.
Not showing up to the world table here.
I don't need to, but I haven't. I'm not trying to talk bad about the French, but I haven't heard nice things. So y'all might want to work on that.
Maybe throw a couple of views our way.
I know Americans are. We're not roses ourselves. I don't. I'm not going to sit here and toot our horn at all. We're not good people either. But French just have a tendency to just kind of be mean. You don't gotta be mean.
Yeah, being very mean by not watching our show.
Yeah, come on, get over. We just need one. Come on.
Anybody in the 65 plus demographic, apparently we kill with them.
Yeah, if there's a 65 plus Frenchman out there or French woman, because we kill with them too. Women, 65 or up. We're just giving everybody a whole demographic breakdown of the program right now. Just in case anybody was wondering.
Just in case anybody cares about our statistics.
It's helpful. It's good to know those things. So yeah.
Maybe you've got an aged friend, sexagenarian friend who likes old movies.
Old horror movies, looking for something new. Also looking for, a little lonely, looking for a way to participate in something, because I mean, this is this show,
maybe someone who's pining for their youth when they just drop shots of whiskey into a big glass of beer.
We facilitate that here.
That's not the kind of thing you want to do by yourself.
No, we're here to do it together. It's we are facilitating a wonderful experience.
If you're gonna spill beer all over yourself, at least do it in the company of friends.
Right. If Evan's spilling beer on himself, then everybody's spilling a little beer on their crotch, right? It's it's good. It's what we want.
Keeping it real wet this
keeping
Friday.
It real wet this Friday. Speaking of wet, we're about to head on back into the swampland.
Get right back into the wet.
Get right back into that wet for part 2 of Moon of the Wolf. Anything before we get into it, Evan? Are there any suspects that are looking promising to you so far?
I think the doctor's gonna get eaten.
Oh, okay.
I think he's kind of a dead end.
All right.
I don't really care about him
I can see that being tied up by now. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about these other guys.
I don't know why, but I feel like that old man and his son are definitely about to get eaten.
Okay, yeah, he's...
Or at least one of them. If one of them's not if the young guy isn't the werewolf, the old man's getting eaten either way, I think. So hopefully, we got another dead body coming up. We'll see. Again, TV movie. Can't show too much. But they're doing what they can. We got a dead body. We got something that looked like blood. It wasn't blood. It was brown. It was probably chocolate syrup. It was probably Bosco. Bosco brand chocolate syrup, which isn't a thing now, but at the time, that was your fake blood chocolate syrup brand of choice. I think Hitchcock used it in Psycho. I mean, a bunch of people used Bosco. I think Night of the Living Dead. So maybe this was the last vestiges of Bosco chocolate syrup's appearances as film blood. Because 70s is when you start getting that good, bright red blood. That
really cracked the code.
It's really just in your face. Well, the 60s too. I mean, if you haven't seen the splatter films of Herschel Gordon Lewis, particularly 2000 Maniacs, which if you're looking for another horror movie that takes place in the South, but that has much more blood than tonight's film, no werewolf though, go check out 2000 Maniacs, because his movies are just like in the mid 60s. Once the production code they got rid of, they were ripping out tongues and cutting off arms, and he just went because he saw a hole. He said, all right, nobody's doing this. I'm going to make these movies. And so
look, it's a dirty job, but somebody's
got to do it. Again, the best horror filmmakers, they find a hole and they just fill it. So
much like JFK in the Oval Office.
Oh, we're back. Yes, we've already had the moon shot. So we're also getting some parallel JFK history lessons tonight. If you haven't already been taking your notes, there's going to be a quiz at the end of tonight's episode that Evan's ready to dish out. So you better be prepared. But until then, we're going to go ahead and get into the exciting middle of Moon of the Wolf right now. Well, we are ready. Here we go. We're going. We're back in it. And it's all fixed now, so don't you worry your pretty little head about it.
Hello.
Hello. Is Marsh Island a real place?
Andrew had a terribly important meeting with the town council.
It sounds fake.
It's probably fake.
Well, have you found out who did that awful thing to that girl yet?
Not yet.
Do I have to call you Sheriff the way Andrew does? Could I call you Aaron?
That was very good delivery.
Aaron would be fine.
I mean, it was probably a legitimate stumble, but
I thank you.
It seemed organic.
I was
We
wondering
only
if,
have one take for this.
Was there something you wanted to say, Aaron?
Yeah, I was wondering if you...
This is a made-for-TV movie.
Over
We're
there.
get one shot.
Well, I'd admire to do that very much, Aaron.
The budget for made-for-TV movies is usually a lot lower.
Yes, and these movies particularly, the ABC TV movies were about half the budget of what NBC TV movies were. $350,000.
I think Eddie doesn't make a very good cup of coffee.
Maybe like something else to drink. Not much you can do to burger.
I think other TV movies before this were also longer. And the concept here was, instead of trying to fill a 2-hour time slot, fill a 90-minute time slot with a movie that's 74 minutes. 73.
We really
So the rest is commercials and
Where your great-granddaddy established.
And
easy payday.
And it was, dude, like, it was called the Sunday, or it was called the movie of the week for a reason, because it was, they showed these on like Tuesday and Wednesday.
What's everybody been saying about me?
But they were popular initially. They really were.
What's Andrew been telling him?
Well, Andrew said you were sick.
Oh, that is Andrew. He'd rather everyone thought I was a terminal case or something.
Hey, thank you, sir.
You want to know the truth, Aaron?
I'm gonna pronounce your name wrong. I'm sorry, Kiko Yazboy 69. Thanks for dropping in from Reddit. I did do a Reddit post today, trying to find that audience. Because we're just over here hanging out watching cheesy horror movies in the dark corners of Twitch. So we know that there are people like you out there who
the socially
appreciate this.
unacceptable man I had been living in sin with.
Thanks for following.
Walked out on me.
Appreciate it.
Well, I would think that Andrew would have been relieved.
Oh, no, he was furious. Why, if they'd had dueling, he'd have dueled him dead. You don't walk out on a rodent, even if you are living in sin with her. Socially unacceptable. You know what Andrew did? He hired some detectives, and they came to New York and found me. They packed me right back here.
Well, you didn't have to go. You could have said no.
He's got all the money. He'd cut me off.
Could have gotten a job.
Doing what? There's the curse of the rodents again. All we women folk were ever taught was piano and how to talk French.
It's just, what? What
so
is
here
that guy
I am,
up to?
back at the old homestead. Having been saved to myself. And Andrew's running around telling everybody I've been saved.
Just peeping around.
Looks at the...
I'm glad you're back.
Are you, Aaron?
That's the South for you. Just got looky-loos and peepers all around you. Whoa.
Well,
this
stop
guy
telling
is
myself
looking
how
way
unhappy
too,
I am because Andrew's such a stinker.
way too snazzy.
Mr. Odin, how do?
Afternoon.
How do?
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Please.
That's not how. That's not. Is that how they talk in Louisiana?
That's a good. Have you ever been to Louisiana?
I have. I went to Mardi Gras once. But we did meet a Cajun guy, and I couldn't understand a word he was saying. He was trying to give us directions, and we were.
He was trying to warn you about the loop.
Probably because
I'm ready to go
I
home
didn't
now,
understand
Louise.
what he was saying.
And you ought to get some rest. You're looking
It was
a little
bad.
peaked.
I was driving, and
Andrew, it's no use.
everybody's very frustrated at me, and I'm like,
That's right.
how am I supposed to know where to go? Did you just hear that?
About why I'm back in Marsh Island, so there's
Garrett,
no
I thought
point
you
in going
spoke French.
I thought
and
you
on
spoke.
and on about
We had a guy who spoke
how I
French in the
regret
car.
having
Why didn't
said what the doctor said.
He was holding out.
He really was, honestly. Nobody was pulling their weight at that moment except me.
The guy who was trying to tell you, look, you give me some of those beads around.
Sheriff,
your
I hear it
neck,
being said that Mr. Gurmandy and his boy
I'll
are
protect you
organizing
against
a
the
He
werewolf.
walked away with a lot of
wipe out the wild
beads.
dog population around here. Would
Lot
you
of
care to join
beads.
in?
We
don't
really
often get
won
sport like that
last
in these
Mardi
parts
Gras.
anymore.
We got all.
I just might. Mr. Rodin.
It was nice, man. Yep.
Course, the
Just
Gurmandys
out of
kill
every
off all those
float,
wild
just
dogs. I
throwing
don't
them,
know
you're
what they're gonna
catching
have to
them.
talk
It's
about the rest of their lives.
beautiful, beautiful time.
Are you ready, Louise?
Everybody's got to go to Mardi Gras at least once.
What else do they have in Louisiana? Beignets, that's a thing.
Yeah, that's the
We had
thing.
beignets when you were
No,
in Nolans.
no, I think we had like crepes. I think there was like a crepe stand like when we first parked on like we were like visiting Tulane universities. There was like a little some kind of crepe place or something. That is a snazzy car. Oh, is it the doctor? Yep.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Scary.
Dr. Druten, quick. He took bad this time, real bad.
Get it, Florence.
I just got that handle. Kick your ass, boy.
I'm probably gonna mispronounce this.
Oh, wasn't even really looking at it the right way.
Can you pull the chat back up?
Yes, of course. God dang it, Evan. Why didn't you say something sooner? Gosh dang it. You have it?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Good. Good.
I'm probably gonna mispronounce this. Kikyo ass boy.
You can tell that one shot already went to my head.
This guy looks like he should be a doctor in like Atlantic
Might as
City.
well start thinking about him dying, Lawrence. If you haven't
Yes,
already.
he does
can't
look
last
kind
much
of. What's the right
He looks like he showed up early for
non-offensive
the 80s.
way to say this? Swarthy isn't the right word. Greasy?
He's because he's a little greasy.
Not any French I
Yeah,
ever
greasy.
He's kind of a greasy doctor.
Well, that
Yeah.
shot will keep him quiet for a few hours.
Would you give him some morphine?
He gave him some, was it sulfur and...
Yeah, that's right. Just injected him with that.
Dr. Druten,
Yes, Sarah, what is it?
what did you find when you examined Ellie?
Just that she was murdered? Dogs didn't do it.
Like I said.
Well, you were right.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me?
Nothing else?
No. Nothing. Goodbye.
Nothing?
Got him.
Troubling you, Sarah.
So that guy, his name's Jeffrey
Either he's
Lewis.
lying
He was a
about being
very
a doctor,
famous
or he's lying
character
about
actor
what he
from the
found.
70s to like the 2010s. He passed away a couple years ago.
If I
But
tell you something, Lawrence,
horror movie fans will know him from Salem's
will you
Lot.
promise to
He
keep
plays
your
like
head on your neck?
townsperson that gets turned into a vampire, and he is the father of Juliette
What is it you
Lewis,
gonna tell
who's an actress who is in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. She plays the daughter in that. She's in Cape Fear and what's that other movie she's in? Natural Born Killers. So, nice little acting family dynasty there. Oh, and he was in a lot of Clint Eastwood movies.
Well, Sheriff, you coming on a wild dog hunt?
Now you bring me a pelt, Tom. I'm disappointed you're not joining us, Sheriff.
Look like,
Somebody's got to mind this dog.
Good hunt. Somebody's coming this way like he's being hunted.
Whoa.
Must be old Hugh again.
What is it, Lawrence? You let me back, Sheriff. What is... He killed my sister.
Ooh.
Come on, grab me now, Lawrence.
That was a
It was her. She was
really
having a baby. It was
terrible
his
punch.
That was a very effective
now, Lawrence, we
punch.
know you're grieving. I don't really
He hit him from a mile away.
Yeah. He got that running start.
Go hunt your wild dogs. Now get out of here. Now you come with me. Come on.
You know, unfortunately, I didn't look up anything about the doctor. I didn't look to see what else he'd been in. Feels like an oversight on my
Now
part.
we better get going with it while we still have the light.
Okay, random guy that we haven't seen before.
I'm taking control of the scene.
Sheriff's gone. I'm in charge now.
Sheriff said while he's gone, I'm in charge. You're just an extra.
Who gave you lines?
We've got some dogs. Will the dogs be in cahoots when we work with them?
Yep. I think it's a pack. It's a dog werewolf pack. What else could it be?
Aaron?
What would you call a dog that transforms into a werewolf?
I was just cutting some roses. Well, come on in if you're not looking for clues.
Wolf dog? I don't know.
Wolf dog.
That's
Well, I found
that's
the
not
clue I
very
was looking for.
creative.
You.
What would you call it?
I don't know.
I was wondering if you were home.
like, where...
Well, where else would I be? Not
That means
shooting down
man.
dogs with the rest of the folks.
So you
All
can
right.
say, like, where...
Care for a glass of lemonade?
Well, yeah,
Like,
yes,
what?
where I
Mighty
think
hot.
where dog is. Yes.
You'd have just driven on by.
Oh, I suppose so, if you hadn't stopped me.
Well, why didn't you just come calling like everybody else?
Where anything
Everybody
is, yes,
just
that's the
wouldn't come
appropriate.
calling out here.
Yeah.
Not without an invitation. I was brought up on Marsh Island.
So was I. I guess that's why nobody ever came calling. Well, have you
This is
solved
really
your murder
long.
yet?
So
They're just gonna
wide.
keep walking away.
Do you have any suspects? Is that the word? Suspects?
That's the
I mean,
word.
when you get a like
three
a
of them.
big location like this, which
I
again,
don't want
it
any
looks
one
like
of
a
them
big
to have done it.
plantation house. That's just, you know,
Now, Doc,
probably what
You
it
need
is.
a little, give yourself a little
well, he's the
room to
closest thing I
stretch
got
out.
to a friend here in
Right.
town.
Look at those really wide shots.
Right.
And Lawrence was a brother. If he did it, thank you. All the folks of quality around here will say, see what kind of people there are down in Frenchtown. They're half
Why does he
foreigners and
sound like
everything.
he's like squeezing out a turd
Yeah,
like
he's
the whole
straining.
time?
I'm German.
Sitting down in the he sat down on a nail.
I wouldn't like to think she'd lower herself that much. I liked her.
He's trying to tough it out.
And I'm some sheriff, aren't I?
God damn,
I've never
bro.
heard you talk so long before.
I'm trying to distract myself from the pain of this rusty nail in my
not
ass.
constipated. I'm not constipated.
When I feel out of place, I just shut up.
When I do, I just keep quiet. I guess that's what it means.
Some great advice from the sheriff.
I guess that's what it means.
Well, I guess you'd better drink your lemonade.
Is there anything more southern than drinking lemonade on the lawn of a plantation house?
Yes. That's a great question, actually.
Maybe if it was sweet tea, that'd be a little more southern.
Yeah, 100%. Although, again, I'm not familiar with how they do things down in Louisiana. Maybe lemonade is their thing. But here in North Carolina, it's sweet tea.
He killed Ellie.
Sweet tea.
Do French people like tea?
That's a great question.
Let's put it out to the audience. Does anybody out there...
Paul, do French people like...
Well, I guess we can't put it to the audience. We established that we don't have any French listeners.
No, we don't. That's a good point. We don't have any inside people in France. French people hate us. They don't like anything. Except for all other French things.
And maybe tea? We don't...
They don't like tea. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
They probably
just kidding.
hate tea.
Now
that I think about it, they gotta hate tea.
They probably hate tea just from its association with British.
Exactly. Ooh, we're getting some
Spooky.
werewolf POV. I like that. I'm trying to remember if we got any of that in Werewolf of Washington or not. Like, I remember like those werewolf stalking scenes, but I don't know if we got anything like this. I like this.
There wasn't anything like this in Mad Monster.
No, definitely not Mad Monster. Yeah, I mean, in that one, he's also, I mean, that one took place in a swamp area too.
That's true.
But it wasn't, I don't think it was the South per se.
Yeah, it didn't.
California swamp.
Sure.
That California swampland that we all know
California.
so much about.
What's that? Beats me.
Uh-oh.
But I'm gonna do like
So
Aaron
what's
said.
the deal? This guy's just hanging out in this unlocked jail cell?
Nobody's gonna be fooling around.
They arrested him, I think, or the sheriff took him away after he punched the doctor, remember?
Oh, right. Yeah, that's illegal.
right back.
You can't do that.
You can't just assault a man in public.
Even if it was a really clean punch, it's still illegal. This dude's face is agape.
Yeah, as well as his eyes,
Looks like
definitely.
fish.
All right.
Come on up.
Silarn sent me a picture that looked like that today, actually. So it's this show, these two brothers like have faces like that. Come on, show it. Oh,
show the wolf.
Damn it, they won't. They won't.
Luckily, he's locked in this wolf cage.
Hey. Oh.
Wolf music. That doesn't have to.
Get kissed back.
Nope.
No. No. What is? Go on. Don't. Hey.
Oh, come on.
Go to quick.
Freeze frame.
So we've maybe got our next body.
I think we got a couple bodies, don't we?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it wasn't the doctor, but it was the guy who was sold to them.
Yeah, the doctor's still hanging out in his white suit, trying to look all innocent, but we know the truth.
Except for the blows.
Who does he think he is? Sleazy Matlock?
That's this greasy-looking Matlock over here.
Cover him up.
Aaron, what in devil's own name is it?
Well, you and the boys could have saved yourself the trouble of shooting all them dogs, man. They didn't kill Ellie or Lawrence or Don Terry. Well, who did? Bang whappers, look at them bars. You get through those bars, Tom? Sure couldn't.
It wasn't him.
Obviously it wasn't him.
Could either. So I just ran out of suspects.
Could anybody in this crowd think they could pull down these bars?
Which man is strong enough to break these bars?
Test your strength.
Step right up.
Well, ain't nobody that strong.
There are no marks of any instruments used on the bars. They were torn out by bare hands.
I'll send someone for the body, Sheriff.
Doc. I'd like to have 4 or 5 deputies for volunteers. Anyone volunteer?
Volunteer deputies? I don't know.
Ellie and Lawrence Burrough were murdered by this wild man. There's only one Burrough left, old Hugh. How do we know he's not next? I'm going to post a 24-hour guard down at his house. All right, I want volunteers.
Don't beg me.
Look at what happened to that deputy of yours who's gone to Lawrence. Going out there, get
So this big guy in the overalls is an actor named Royal Dano who is in a Hitchcock movie that I love called Trouble with Harry. Did a bunch of horror movies in the 80s and 90s. And you may know him from Twin Peaks. He plays a judge. I mean, you probably won't remember, but he plays a judge in Twin Peaks who's, you know, in a few episodes. He's in more than one, but he's in, you know, not a lot. But Judge Sternwood.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Probably season 2. More than likely. Only 2 seasons of Twin Peaks. The original, not the return.
Not the return.
That's a different thing altogether. It really is. God.
I still haven't seen
that. Have you watched it? You haven't watched the return?
It's on Showtime.
You have to find a way to watch it because we have to talk about it.
I gotta pony up the.
You got to. It's been too long, bro. I watched it when it first came out. In my mind, I just can't. It's Twin Peaks. It's David Lynch, man, and Mark Frost. They know what they're doing.
Say, Sheriff? Uh-huh. There are probably 8 or 9 guns on us right now.
That's so. Well, I heard you were lacking deputies, so I thought I'd come and offer my services.
It's okay, here's your 2-minute warning.
Yeah, I appreciate that, but what happens when I'm supposed to give you orders?
I guess you'll just have to forget who I am. And remember who you are, Sheriff.
Come on. I'll drive you over to Hughes. I was going there myself.
So this guy in the shirt, the plaid shirt, is an actor named Bradford Dillman. Yeah, it's he was like, my name already sounded actory enough. I didn't have to change it. It was
He's not wrong.
because he was kind of came out of that school of matinee idols from like the mid-late 50s, early 60s, that most of those guys had their names changed by the studio. Yeah. Rock Hudson is not an original name. You know, it's all these like people that, you know, have these ridiculous sounding names. They weren't. Rory Calhoun is not a real name. It's all bullshit.
Is John Wayne a real name?
John Wayne, no, his real name was Marion Morrison, I believe, and then he changed it to John Wayne. I think. Let me look that up. But I think Marion Morrison was his real name.
Marion Morrison does also sound like an actor name, but it doesn't sound like his name.
I may be wrong. I may be making that up. That may be somebody else. Yeah, no, I was right. Marion Robert Morrison, known professionally as John Wayne. Because a lot of these actors, what they do is they're known professionally by name, but on legal documents it's their legal name. So like Boris Karloff is famously that way. Signed everything, signed fan stuff Boris Karloff. Signed legal documents William Henry Pratt.
You know me.
Because that was his real name.
Yeah.
John Wayne was probably the same way. Probably signed documents. I gotta look that up. I don't know about John Wayne. It's interesting.
Had more than 100 hunters.
Well, there's only a few of them left now, and most of that hunting's for pasture land. What's that smell?
It smells like sulfur.
It's him. Well, if that isn't a dead giveaway, I don't know what is.
It's him. He's the Wolf of Wall Street.
What's wrong with
God damn it, he's cornering the market on all these penny stocks. We've got to do something.
A fit when he started having it. He's had a fit and it was brought on, according to what you tell me, by something he smelled.
That's my favorite medical term, a fit. He's having a fit. Like,
oh, yes, but not
all the way up to the 70s, it's an acceptable medical term to describe literally any freak out. That you can't give a precise diagnosis.
Being a doctor in the old
not until I can talk to him.
He's having a fit. I love that. Cylon and I have always that's always been. There's a show that we love, and that's like one of the jokes is like he's having a fit, and it's because it's just
stop saying I'm having a fit.
It's just so arcane. It doesn't mean anything. It's not a diagnosis of anything. It's just I can't give a diagnosis. He's just freaking out.
Whatever season. You ever have
really
a fit
is.
like that before? Anyone in the family?
Granddaddy used to have what they called his spells.
What were they?
Or a spell. That's even more.
I'm having a spell.
I mean, nobody'd ever talk about it. I was just little. All I remember was a lot of running around and whispering and people talking about Granddaddy having one of his spells upstairs. A long time later, I was sure they meant he'd been drinking.
Well, maybe it wasn't that at all. Maybe it was the same thing your brother just had. Maybe it was...
Well, what is it, Aaron? What are you looking at?
This.
Well, that was my mother. She gave it to me.
Evan, you might hear something weird in a second. Just ignore
good heavens, no. Well, I mean, I might know if I looked for it. I left it here when I went to New York. I suppose it's around here somewhere. Why?
Well, it is somewhere.
Well, what are you doing with it?
Is that it?
Well, of course it is. Where'd you get it?
Okay.
I found it where they discovered that body.
She stole it?
Not necessarily.
We're gonna go to a break. Yeah, it was
right here in the middle.
Yeah, it was. I was supposed to do it before the scene started, and then when we were in it, I was like, "Oh God, I think I was put on cutter."
We'll remember our place. He's just.
Luckily, we're not gonna have the same problem that we did before, where it starts back up from the beginning.
We've had a little development.
I took care of it. Yes.
necklace.
Yeah. Oh, it's hers?
It was whoever was in the photograph was wearing it. So if that was the photo was her.
Ooh. Interesting turn of events.
Maybe she's the werewolf.
I mean, maybe it's a family thing. Yeah, maybe they're all werewolves. It'd be cool to see a lady werewolf.
These dang plantation owners, they're all werewolves.
We don't get a lot of lady werewolves, except for Howling 2, Your Sister is a Werewolf, starring Christopher Lee as a werewolf hunter. There's some weird title to it, subtitle to it too, alternate subtitle, like something bitch or something. Of course. Yeah, it's like that. Yeah, and
you gotta do that.
I mean,
I never saw the Underworld movies. I assume there's probably a lady werewolf.
Yes, I'm sure there is. I'm not a big fan of the Underworld movies or the Twilight shit. I like my monsters, classical, I'm just not here for werewolves feuding with vampires, and I'm not having that Herschel Walker conversation,
You know that a werewolf can beat a vampire. Did you know that?
Did you hear, and again, maybe I am getting political saying this, did you hear Obama's, he made a joke about that? He was stumping for Warnock, and he was like, yeah, I wondered that same thing too when I was 7. And it was like, he still got it. He's so good. Obama. No, I love him. I
thought you were gonna say that Obama said, yeah, sure, a werewolf can beat a vampire, but a ghost will beat both of them.
Ooh, now that would have been an interesting counter argument. I would have been here for that. Because then, maybe you're playing into it a little bit, but come on,
I wish that going forward, all
political candidates told us about their views on horror characters,
supernatural power rankings. Every presidential debate was just whether or not the swamp thing can beat a Sasquatch.
What's more powerful, a vampire or a Sasquatch?
Okay,
you have 60 seconds.
And your rebuttal.
Politics it's ripe right now for movie references to just be centered completely around pop culture, and why go anywhere else? That's all anybody cares about. Who wants important policy debate? We want to know what your stance is on Frankenstein's monsters versus mummies. What do you think? We want to know. We want to know if you can represent what the people how they really feel about these real issues. But we're just gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah, we'll see more of that in 23.
Yeah,
it's gonna be the next election.
And a lot of the local elections. Be prepared for more monster debates.
My opponent claims he would like to be a vampire.
Now, my opponent claimed that I was just making up being abducted by aliens, but I'm here to say that's 100% fact. And you can take that to the bank.
West Virginia, we all know we would rather be the Mothman.
Yeah! Woo! Speaking truth. Actually, it would be fun to be the Mothman.
Sure,
scaring people, hanging out at the bridge all day. Oh my God, it's the life. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
He's got it made.
He really does. Well, yeah, so we're 2/3 of the way into Moon of the Wolf. We're about to, we're getting close to figuring out who this werewolf is. Obviously, this rodent family is pretty suspicious.
Yeah, the guy who just collapsed at the smell of anti-werewolf voodoo
certainly couldn't be a werewolf, could he?
He's just allergic to sulfur.
Yeah, that's what
having
it is.
a fit.
He's just having a fit. Bradford Dillman is his name again, and he was actually, a lot of the actors in tonight's movie, they didn't do too many horror movie roles, but he was one of the few actors throughout the 70s that, Bradford Dillman got leading roles in horror movies and then supporting roles in more kind of studio movies. So like I was talking earlier about big budget disaster movies with stars, he'd get a supporting role in those. So one of the trailers we're going to see during the break is for a disaster movie about killer bees attacking the United States, called The Swarm.
Yet again, the disaster movies foreseeing the future.
Yeah, we certainly had a run with the these killer bees, and so leave it to the movies of the 70s to just predict the future. The Swarm is just it was on the tail end of these big budget disaster movies, and it's not very good, but it's got Michael Caine, and he's fun. The bees, it's like Nicolas Cage, but it's Michael Caine instead yelling about bees, so it's fun.
Nick Cage was inspired.
Yes, I think he had to have been. There's actually a few killer bee movies out of the 70s and 80s, but this was the biggest budget one from the guy who was known as the master of disaster, Irwin Allen. He was a producer.
Wait, is this the guy who does the well, I'm sure we'll see during the trailer, but the projection stuff?
No, I think I know who you're talking about. He did put gimmicks like that on his movie. Like they would put I think he produced the movie Earthquake. Maybe he didn't, but there's this movie Earthquake it was made with sensor sound, which it would shake the theater. You would feel the earthquake.
I love the gimmick stuff that was coming out back then.
Right, the 70s, they
grasping at anything.
Yeah, in the disaster movies.
Is this a thing? Do you like it when we shake your seat? And
yeah.
We're gonna tie a skeleton to a balloon and float it across the audience.
That was.
Do you like that? Are you scared?
That was really the heyday. At this point, Irwin Allen was definitely kind of grasping at straws for sure. He had the Poseidon Adventure was definitely the biggest hit that he ever had, nominated for Oscars, and then Towering Inferno was big too, but critically, everything after Poseidon Adventure is just kind of he's just it's just another disaster movie with a bunch of stars trying to get out of the dangerous. Nothing's changed. But Bradford Dillman, he did that, but he was the lead in a lot of horror movies as well. So he was in 1978's Piranha, which is
that a disaster movie, or would you call that a?
Piranha's a horror movie, straight up. It was a Jaws parody directed.
Okay, right,
yeah, it was directed by Joe Dante, who did Gremlins and Small Soldiers, and he did so many great movies. But he's still alive. I don't know why I'm saying he did. I think he's still making stuff. But he does Trailers from Hell, which is kind of like this.
He still does.
He still does. He used to, but he really did. But Joe Dante's a lot of fun. So he made Piranha as a Jaws spoof, and it was produced by Roger Corman's studio, New World Films. I don't know what it's called. Productions. I don't know. But And it was a big hit, but Universal wanted to sue them for copyright infringement, and Spielberg watched it and was like, it's a parody. It's fine. It's a comedy. It's not, you don't need to sue them. Because Universal sued a bunch of people that made like Jaws ripoffs in the wake of Jaws. And this movie is definitely like a comedy, but Bradford Dillman is the hero. He's not the Chief Brody per se, but kind of the Chief Brody. Like, he's the one that, you know, is kind of, it's incumbent on him to save the day, and his kid is at risk, and, you know. So, yeah, I mean, he kind of got the best of both worlds. If you can be a character actor and you can be a leading man in cheesy horror movies, you got a nice thing going.
That's a pretty good combo.
It's a cushy life. You're not, you know, I mean, you're probably getting paid more to go play that supporting role than you are that starring role, and you're working like half the screen time, you know? So it's kind of like, oh, okay, well, I can be a leading man, but I can also just go chill and get like a nice paycheck, you know? Must have been fun to be an actor in the 70s when they were just looking for 15 people to put in the trailers, like, you know, like starring blah 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 and blah 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 with blah 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 featuring da 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 da. You know, it just like, it doesn't stop. So the first trailer is definitely one of those. But yeah, so we're going to see these two Bradford Dillman trailers. And then when we come back, we're going to get into the exciting conclusion of Moon of the Wolf. So stick around. We will be right back.
Lost River, take 32.
And action. Lost River is lost no more. Yes, friends, you can be part of a modern ecological miracle. Acres and acres of reclaimed land nestled in a scenic mountain valley, site of the newly formed Lost River Lake. You'll find swimming, sailing, snorkeling.
There's something strange in the water at Lost River Lake. Something you can't see, something you can't feel until it's too late. Started in a Texas pond.
Barbara! Or is there something in here?
David! David! Well, if it still works, it's the quickest way to know if they're down there or not.
What are you doing?
You drained the pond?
Yes, we found...
You let them out?
They were unleashed into America's waterways to churn quiet streams into rivers of living death.
Keep your hand out of the water.
Ow! What's wrong with the water? Dad!
Stay back!
Dad!
Stay back!
The water is filled with carnivorous fish.
Piranha, the deadliest man-eaters of all. In schools of hundreds, they attack and devour anything that moves with razor-sharp teeth that can strip a man to the bone in less than a minute.
There'll be no way to contain them. They'll be able to swim up every river system in the country.
There's a school of piranha heading straight downstream towards your resort.
They'll kill us. All of us.
Science fiction.
I'm on a phone.
They're the piranhas.
I told you not even to say that word.
But the piranhas.
What about the piranhas?
They're eating the guests, sir.
They're here, and they're hungry. Piranha.
For more than 20 years, scientists have known that a swarm of killer bees has been headed towards the United States. Now, Warner Brothers presents Irwin Allen's The Swarm.
We have visual contact.
Identify.
A black mass, sir. A moving black mass.
We have been invaded by an enemy far more lethal than any human force.
Starring Michael Caine, Catherine Ross, Richard Widmark, Richard Chamberlain, Olivia de Havilland, Ben Johnson, Lee Grant, Jose Ferrer, Patty Duke Aston, Slim Pickens, Bradford Dillman, Fred McMurray and Henry Fonda.
Get inside! Quickly, get inside!
A story of courage and sacrifice.
Newman! Go for it, Joe! Move out!
Not since the 30s, when families by the thousands fled the Oklahoma Dust Bowl, has a thriving American community had to be totally evacuated. Until today.
Its size is immeasurable. Its power is limitless. Its enemy is man.
The war that I've always talked about has finally started.
Mile by mile, city by city, it moves, leaving in its wake a path of destruction.
For God's sake, Crane, when are we going to stop this massacre?
Irwin Allen's The Swarm. It is more than speculation. It is a prediction. The Swarm is coming.
Oh, so those were two Bradford Dillman trailers, Piranha and The Swarm. I was wrong about the order. I love that Swarm trailer. It's so much fun. It's a terrible movie, but that's a fun trailer.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about bees being the monster.
It's not very scary.
It's not very scary.
They're coming.
It's a
and
bunch of bees.
People don't get out in time, and it's just it's kind of...
I mean, don't get me wrong. I would not want to be swarmed by a bunch of killer bees. I'm sure that hurts.
Yeah.
A whole lot.
Oh yeah, it's not pleasant. It's not.
I mean, is it that imposing?
Not really. And I think that movie was not successuel. And I think
it's maybe a little more imposing than a river full of piranha when you can just stay out of the river.
I mean, but I haven't looked at the numbers. I don't know that Piranha was a bigger hit than The Swarm. But to be perfectly honest, it might have been, because Piranha was a drive-in movie, kind of. It knew what it was. It was like tongue-in-cheek, like, you're supposed to see this and have fun. The Swarm was more, we're pumping a whole bunch of money into this movie.
Or a B movie.
Into this literal B movie, and it should be a hit. And it's like, well, no, it's not. It's about bees. Like, you can put 15 stars in it if you want. It's not going to change the fact that it's still bees. And so, I mean, I think at the end of the day, Piranha's a fucking wild movie. I love Piranha, even though, again, in that, it's like, it's like cutouts. It's not like a mechanical thing. It's not, the way that they render the monsters definitely, I mean, obviously in the bees, it's like, or the Swarm, it's like animation, or it's some kind of something.
Which one of those do you think is more likely to give a child a nightmare? Like, if, you know how, like, when you're a kid and, like, you watch a horror movie and it just affects you
Piranha.
way more than it should.
Definitely Piranha, because
Okay.
because
Like,
I
that
think
kid's not going in the bathtub.
Yeah, no, because exactly, because
there's a piranha,
right? And because and just in the way the two movies look, like The Swarm is like a sleek, widescreen Hollywood movie, whereas Piranha is like scratchy, dingy.
Someone shot this on
dry.
the
Yeah, it's like shot on like cheaper film stock. Like, I don't know if it's widescreen. I don't think it is. I mean, I don't know, maybe it is. I mean, and there's certainly restorations, but just the rawness of it is certainly, I think, more bound to give you nightmares. And also just because the idea of like, okay, I get stung to death versus I get eaten to death.
Yeah, okay, true.
It's kind of the idea of the idea of like little stings going in you is like, but like the idea of little bites being taken into you is
especially like if you're in like a murky river, you can't even see.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's how it is. It's like all these people are just kind of doing their thing in the river like they always do, except these piranhas have been let loose from upstream. So they're just swimming downstream, fucking wreaking havoc.
You know, I almost think a swarm of piranha is probably more scary than a shark.
Yeah. Oh, well, again, that's kind of that's why the movie is a thing, because it was kind of like Joe Dante and, I can't remember who wrote the script. Maybe it was John Sayles, somebody working with Dante that was just like, all right, what's scarier than a shark? Like a bunch of piranha. And like, but also knowing how ridiculous the concept sounds anyway. Like, all right, these piranha get loose in a river and they attack a bunch of people. I mean, it happens. It's a real, like, not a bunch of piranha get loose and attack a bunch of people, but people finding piranhas in lakes and rivers happens. It happens where we're at. Piranhas have been found in the lake near us.
The illegal dumping of piranhas.
It's a thing.
Problem.
It is a problem. It is a known problem.
You got a failing pet store. You got to dump these animals somewhere.
You're going to get these piranhas and baby alligators a new home someplace. So why not the lake or the river? Yeah, so there's also a certain element that, like, that could also maybe really happen. Like, not a whole bunch of piranhas, but there could be a piranha in this lake over here. Yeah, that's kind of scary. Versus, do I really think that I'm going to get attacked by a giant swarm of bees?
Well, yeah, the scientists said the swarm is coming.
This is going to happen. It's just a matter of time. That's how the trailer was, like, selling it. It's like, all right, get the fuck out of here, please. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting though. Like Bradford Dillman is like, those are similar kind of qualities to a swarm of piranha and a swarm of bees. He's also in a movie called Bug, about a swarm of like some kind of underworld beetle that is like attacks people. So he did a lot of bug movies in the 70s. I don't know what this thing was.
I was in kind of a bug phase back in the 70s.
Bradford Dillman was in a bug phase. I don't know what it was. But werewolves just as ferocious as a swarm of anything. One werewolf is.
Yeah, can we get a swarm of werewolves?
Don't
scary.
Challenge me with a good time, because a swarm of werewolves, find a way to make it happen.
It's more scary than a werewolf. A swarm.
Swarm of werewolves. It could happen.
Not even a pack. A swarm.
Yeah, not a pack. A swarm. Yeah. You think about zombies, when you get a horde of zombies, you could also call it a swarm of zombies. Sure. So why not a swarm of werewolves? I'm here for it.
Do you think a zombie could beat a werewolf?
Oh, God, are we going to get into this Herschel Walker philosophical question
now,
here?
My opponent says that a zombie can beat a werewolf.
Now, I don't know about you, but I like to think that a werewolf is special. Yeah, I don't know.
Now, a werewolf has that strong, small-town American work ethic. You all know what I'm talking about.
And, zombies are really communists. So, when you look at it like that, who wouldn't want to be a werewolf? We could go on that debate all night. But I think we're going to just get into the exciting conclusion of
instead of that, we're going to
Moon of the Wolf. Anything before we get into it, Evan, who do we think the wolf is?
I still want to know what's going on with this doctor. I think the other guy might have been a red herring. It seems a little too obvious.
Okay, yes, I like that. I think the doctor's a little too slimy for my taste. He's
he might even be too slimy to be a werewolf. Maybe he's
That's a good point.
something else.
Maybe he's something else. Maybe we're gonna get the ultimate twist at the end, and
he's just a Floridian.
Yeah. Oh, I could see it. I mean, it's not that far over across the border, right? They border each other, don't they?
They're around somewhere.
They're around.
The
They're
panhandle is somewhere in there.
We traveled. We went. So the day I talked about when I was getting directions from the Cajun man, we traveled to Panama City, Florida. Spring break trip. That's the classic. Headed from Mardi Gras to Panama City, Florida. And then to the middle of nowhere, Florida. Yep, we lived it up. Yeah, so we'll see. Doctor is pretty safe bet, I would imagine. But we'll see. Maybe it's the woman. That'd be fun.
Yeah, it would be fun.
But who knows? We'll see. All right. Well, without further ado, we're gonna get into the exciting conclusion of Moon of the Wolf right now.
Well, how else could you have gotten it?
Oh no, it messed up. No, it's JK.
All right, we're gonna start over from the top.
Anything. I just mean I'm going to find out. I'm going to the hospital.
Oh, Aaron, could I come with you, please?
You have to wait in the other room while I question.
Maybe we missed what her illness was, but I would like to know. We must have missed it.
I gave it to her. When? The night she was murdered. Mr. Rodin, maybe I oughtn't to be questioning you in your present condition.
So wait, it was the
Vicks?
Vicks?
Going to send you home tonight. Now, you don't know what you're saying.
Oh, I didn't kill the girl, Sheriff, and I know
I guess it
perfectly what
was.
I'm saying. I gave her that bit of bright work in return for certain favors she did me over the past year.
Favors?
Not the kind you're thinking, Sheriff.
Well, maybe you shouldn't have said it like that, bro.
Yeah, you should have looked right at the camera. Not the kind you're thinking.
My malaria's
You ever
acting
heard
up.
of Siebert syndrome?
Pardon me, I'm having a
Well, it's
fit.
an offshoot of blackwater fever, the one form of malaria they don't know anything about, really. And once you got it forever. And the only time you know you had an attack is when you wake up after it's all over.
Are they making a malaria lycanthropy parallel here?
Tripyridone. It's the only thing that keeps it under
Kind of.
control.
I think.
Where do you get that?
Here, at the hospital.
Then Doc Druten would have known about it.
No. Sheriff, I have an interesting
Did you know that
aversion to my
lycanthropy
maladies being
spread by
paraded around the
mosquitoes?
town. Being the subject of
If you
gossip
if you
in
put them under a
ballrooms and
microscope, you
bathrooms.
see how hairy they
Ellie
actually
Burrill
are.
used to bring me the medicine in the evening, a month's supply at a time. And
Now,
those
a
were
were
favored
mosquito would be terrifying.
in return for some money, and
It wouldn't stop
she died that
until he
March.
killed it.
Mr. Rodin, are you telling me that Ellie brought you some medicine on the night she was murdered?
That's right.
Did you just pour yourself another beer, or did you make yourself another shot, or is that the same one?
What was she wearing?
I don't know.
Oh God, Evan!
I've been
pretty
pouring.
dress. It was
Oh, okay.
sort of
okay.
brown, I think, with checks. But she wasn't in a pleasured mood that night. She had something on her mind, it seemed
I
like.
loved it so much, I made myself another
So I
one.
gave the locket to Ellie, saying, "Here."
I spilled even
I
more
was
beer
gonna
on my
say
jeans.
I didn't hear the.
I had the towel though.
But she thanked me, and I hung it around her neck. I closed the catch, and then she went away to get murdered.
What'd you do after Ellie left?
Something stupid, Sheriff. Nothing.
Nothing.
I should have gone right back upstairs and taken 2 of the pills, but I didn't. I just sat there, thinking to myself, what a pretty girl Ellie Burrill was. Just sat there thinking. And the next thing I knew, I was taking a shower, and it was about 5 o'clock in the morning.
Mr. Rodin, when you came home last evening after hunting, what'd you do then?
I dined with my sister.
And after that?
I went straight to bed. It tired me out more than I thought that, huh? So I went to bed early. Couldn't have been later than 9. Slept the night.
Without waking?
Straight through to breakfast. And that's when I learned from my sister what had happened in the night to Lawrence Burrill and your deputy. It was the same person, wasn't it, Sheriff? All these murders, they've been committed by the same person, haven't they?
Well, it seems so. If there is a person that can tear iron bars out of a brick wall. Well, Mr. Rodin, you don't happen to be left-handed.
I'm ambidextrous, Sheriff. I can sign my name with both hands at the same time, and it would take
well, that doesn't get me anywhere.
To tell you the difference. You know, there have been 5 of us in my family who
is his hand on his
that
gun?
interesting trait from my great-great-grandfather.
I don't know if that would be my resting position.
It's just it's a kind of a power pose if you're.
It really is.
Miss Rodin, is Sheriff Whitaker still with? Oh, there he is. Aaron, I can't get one person in this fear-ridden town to take this medication to old Hugh. If he breaks loose with one more spell of the Luca-Rooks, it'll be the finish of him.
I'll take it.
A spell of the what?
It's something the old man keeps saying in French. Nobody around here can understand it.
I know French.
It's too bad no one in this town speaks French.
You speak French?
In Louisiana.
Well, I know it was early.
You know, if he slept through the night.
Well, I don't know. I dropped off about 11.
About 11.
Hello, Sarah. How is it?
No, sir. I feel comfort.
That's what it is.
That's a sedative. That's what people used to say.
I know.
Look at him. Yes.
Yeah.
Luca-Rook?
Come on, you speak French. Don't you know this? You're saying it wrong. Oh, that's why I haven't gotten it yet.
Yeah, it's a dialect thing.
It's
Monsieur,
definitely.
qu'est-ce que vous dites? Monsieur, répétez ça, s'il vous plaît.
Voilà. Dans la main. Le Luca-Rook. Après. Lawrence. Oh. Oh.
Aaron? Aaron, it's his dialect. Luca-Rook. He's saying loup-garou.
Oh, it is a dialect thing.
He's saying werewolf.
He's saying werewolf.
What? Oh, it's him.
Dun, dun.
This whole time.
Should have known.
You should have known. He was saying it the whole time.
Should have known, you son of a bitch.
Mr. Rodin?
So it is the brother?
Yep, it's the brother.
Okay.
We got our answer.
Not a red herring after all.
Not a red
Played
herring.
Straight.
They gave it to us straight. Director Daniel Petrie, like a Canadian, straight up. Oh, come on, show us the face. All right. No, we did not. That's too much for the budget here, unfortunately.
That's pretty good.
Call the sheriff. Tell him what you saw. What happened?
Uh-oh. Is the doctor
Okay, now
bleeding?
quieten down and listen. Now, Tom Gurmity, he knows these marshes better than his own name, so I'm putting him in charge. And remember
Was this the mayor or something?
Andrew Rodance is out there, and he's turned into a wolf. And we gotta find him and shoot him down like a wolf.
This ain't any place for you.
Mayor, You're planning to hunt down my brother, hunt him down and shoot him like a wild animal?
Miss Rodent, you shouldn't be here.
Classic mayor, blue suit, white hair.
Illness, don't you understand that? He has these seizures.
Miss Rodent, he had fangs coming 2 inches out of his mouth.
Mary, listen to me. There are drugs.
Hey, this here's his sister. How do we know she ain't gonna turn out to be some kind of a wolf?
You shut up. Mary, listen to me. Finding him is one thing, but hunting him down, shooting him is another thing altogether.
Now, this is a law enforcement matter. You organize this posse without any legal authority.
You
I'm
tell him,
acting under
Sheriff.
authority vested in me by the Marsh Island Charter. Now, Tom Germety's
Do
in charge
werewolves
now.
get due process?
That's a great question. What are werewolf rights? Do we have any werewolf lawyers in our Rolodex?
Yeah, you gotta be careful what you wish for. You want to be a werewolf because you can beat a vampire, but then you lose your rights.
Right. So this whole TV movie was based on a novel that was written by a guy who was actually a journalist in Washington D.C. who during like the Nixon administration, who like investigated Nixon and Watergate and FBI. Holy shit!
And he wrote a werewolf
And
novel.
he was also a novelist that wrote
Okay.
science fiction and horror stories. And
Everybody needs a side hustle.
he wrote a vampire novel before this, and then wrote this. And the vampire novel was said to be an inspiration for The Night Stalker, which was the TV horror movie that preceded this. So that's like an interesting little through line
And
there.
lycanthrope-like diseases.
What's lycanthropy?
Werewolves.
Les Whitten was this guy's name.
What I believe, what I want to believe, is that it's what Andrew said it was, a disease that you can take pills to control. But after what Dr. Bruton said, and after what happened at the Burfoo house, and Granddaddy's fits, and now this book.
Let me see.
If you take ivermectin, you don't turn into a werewolf.
Diseases resemble lycanthropy in some of its symptoms. These quasi-lycanthropic diseases are relatively harmless and easily controlled by a series of modern drugs.
Well, that's what Andrew said it was, those pills.
Lycanthropia veritum. True lycanthropy may also respond favorably to the same drugs for a time, and then the disease develops an immunity to the drug. In true lycanthropy, the victim's yearning for the taste of blood turns him into a most powerful, dangerous, and deadly killer. Mythology has it that werewolves are repelled and rendered temporarily
Mythology.
harmless
Lose the
by the
H.
smell of sulfur. And it is also recorded,
Is that a
though with
thing
no
in
scientific
werewolf lore?
basis whatever,
Like
that
sulfur?
certain persons sensitive
I
to
have
never heard
sorcerers,
that.
I have never heard
exorcisers
that
of evil,
before.
claim to be able to...
No, go on, read it.
Mythology, I'm
This
not
is definitely the first time.
Well, I
I'm
guess-
sorry, did we not see the werewolf looking at her just a little bit ago?
Yeah, was she just seeing
in the hand of the werewolf's next victim.
Louise, it's 1972.
Maybe
I
it's,
heard him look
maybe
through
it's a
Lawrence's hand just
dog
before
nose
Andrew
thing,
killed him.
Like how, you know, to us, sulfur smells
Sarah's
terrible.
superstition.
He just looked into mine.
Their noses are a
Louise, he
million
is your
times
brother.
better.
Right.
Andrew is a...
Uh-oh.
Andrew is it. As soon as she said Andrew.
He's out there.
It's in the barn. Stay right there.
You stay here. It'll be just fine. You got nothing to worry about.
Take your malaria pills.
If prison bars can't keep a man safe, then
Stay here, Louise.
I don't know what this oak is really gonna do, but you'll be all right here.
Aaron, he tore iron bars out of cement.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Maybe you'll have more respect.
What?
You have more respect for the expert craftsmanship.
After I leave, lock it.
This werewolf is really a southern gentleman. He would prefer to respect your property.
I don't know what I'll do when I find him, but it won't be what they'll do. Now, don't leave the room. Don't answer the door until you hear it's me, Aaron, saying it's me, all right?
Aaron, if he has to be killed, not their way.
Oh. Yep. Nothing like, I wish I knew what those doors were called. I feel like they have a name.
These doors are sure to hold him back.
Rodan! Rodan!
The destruction of the victim. And only two methods of destruction are known. Death by burning or death by shooting with bullets that have been blessed.
That have a blast. Oh shit, he's about to tear the whole set down. See, now I would be interested to know if this is Bradford Dillman or Bradford Dillman's stunt double. That's a fair question. Oh my god, you better freaking go. To the barn. I'll certainly be safe in the dark, dark barn. Nothing bad could happen to me here.
Where's the sheriff?
He's just running around.
He left.
Looking for nothing in particular.
Being as ineffectual as he's been this entire movie. Being as gruff and ineffectual.
Well, when you're constantly holding in a shit, it's kind of hard to actually. You can't multitask, you know. But he's trying to. So he's not actually getting anything done because he really wants to take a shit, but he doesn't have the time.
The lesson of this movie is you gotta eat your fiber.
Eat your fiber and just go to the bathroom. Don't hold it. Why? Just if you gotta go, you gotta go.
I'll wait until I get off of this shift.
I've just gotta ask a few more questions. You have to love the 70s zoom. Oh my god.
Zooms are really
Oh shit. Oh, come on. Lock him in. Oh, nope, she's gonna leave the door open. Classic.
Did she say, what did she say? Bullets that have been blessed and the burning?
Yeah, burning. Oh, come on. If he can't get out of that.
Maybe he's weak to fire. She said it.
He ain't getting out. I was expecting a little bit more of like a confrontation.
This guy,
he just missed the entire climax. He
went the wrong way.
What are the writers doing? We need to get there. Like, okay,
Who's
hero.
the main character?
Let's get him out of here for the climax. Okay. What the fuck?
Oh, Andrew.
I really want him to pop back up.
He needs
He
to.
needs to. We need something.
We need some. Okay.
We're getting our wish, Evan.
We've got our final girl by merit of the sheriff just running off in the woods.
Right. Because he's still not out of the woods yet. He's still just running around the woods.
He's not out of the woods yet.
Still just running around the woods, but he's not.
Who knows what he's doing? I was gonna say, isn't this the South? Shouldn't you have a gun?
She was locked and loaded. But is it a silver bullet?
Well, she didn't even say silver.
Oh, they didn't? It just black.
The lore in this one is all over.
It's not solid.
Not really your standard werewolf lore.
No. I mean, I think they were using some of the, like, seeing in the palm of the victim's hand type stuff. We kind of missed it a little bit, but I think that's what the old man was doing to her, like looking at her palm. And she talked about it later, but
right, yeah, that's not something that really comes up in werewolf stuff anymore.
Really just the Wolfman movies, and really just the first Wolfman movie, that they see the pentagram in the palm of the victim's hand.
Wait!
That's acting, baby.
No, that's what we call acting.
Three bullets. He's got 3 bullets. Like, how many buttons does he not have? He has like 2 or 3 actually buttoned, right? Look at it.
He made me fire at it.
It's absurd. Well, okay, not quite as many as I thought.
Well, you know, they sort of the high waist.
It's like 1 less button than normal people would do.
Right. Well, the man's just all chest. Is the problem.
It really is. He is very barrel. It's just barrel chested, and he's got all that hair.
Out.
He's just got to show it off.
It's a good thing I had this blessed gun.
She got lucky. Blessed gun, blessed bullets. I don't know what.
Aaron, look.
He's a man again. If you give us a transformation sequence, I'm going to be very. Oh yeah, I didn't think you would.
Yeah. Quick, look at this thing that's happening off screen.
It was too good for them to do. They would never do that. Wow. So that was Moon of the Wolf.
Does it add much to have him turn back after he's already dead?
That's how they've always done it. Okay. Every werewolf movie has ended essentially that way, where whoever the wolf was, by the time they've been killed, they turn back into a human.
So if you die as a werewolf,
you turn back into your human form. That's just always been the way that it is.
How it works.
Always. It is. You know, it's funny. I mean, yeah, every werewolf movie. And again, I was talking about how in the 80s, the werewolf movies got revitalized. Joe Dante, who made Piranha, he made The Howling.